Interior. Diner. Morning. Dave, 26, well-groomed, long hair, goatee, neck tattoo, stylish bomber jacket, maroon khaki pants, stylish sunglasses. Ruben, 30, bald shaved face, stylish suit, glasses, briefcase on his right side, stylish wristwatch. Dave sits by himself, stares at the menu, sips coffee. Waitress stands next to him to take his order. The waitress takes the menu and leaves. Ruben enters diner, walks towards Dave, sits across from him. Ruben, hey man. Dave, sup. Dave and Ruben both just sit quietly for a moment, then both speak. Dave and Ruben, so how have you been? Dave and Ruben both chuckle. Sorry man, I'll go first. How have you been lately? Man, it's been a while. Dave, yeah man, it's been great. I can't complain too much. Just spent time over in Greece for a photo shoot, met some people. Ruben gives a smirk. Ruben, knowing you, you must have met interesting people. Dave, a gentleman never kisses and tells. But I am no gentleman. You have no idea what these women are like. Dave makes a fist, bites onto the top of pointer finger, shakes his fist, looks wide eyes open at Ruben, and chuckles. Dave continued. All I have to say is European girls are where it's at, but to be honest, I felt like my trip would have been better if I had any competent staff. Ruben, oh come on man, they can't be that bad. David scoffs. Dave, are you kidding me? I would rather trust a Parkinson's patient to hold an open bottle of 1992 Domaine La Vierge Montatit Grand Cru around me. Then Dave looks around, leans towards Ruben. Then have any of the migrant workers stand next to my Apple Watch collection. Dave leans back. Ruben looks at the ground and back at Dave. Man, that's crazy. But from the sound of it, it looks like you have not changed one bit. A man comes by and drops off Dave's order. The man has tattoos on his knuckles and wears the same attire that the waitress wears. Dave notices the man and squints his eyes at him. Dave rubs his brow. The man abruptly changes back into the waitress, then turns to his food. Waitress turns to Ruben, reaches for a notepad and pen. Ruben continued. Oh, I just want coffee with some sugar, thank you. Waitress leaves. Ruben raises his eyebrows. Ruben continued. Wow, rough night there, bud. Dave. Yeah, I'm fine. I just could have sworn that woman looked like a man. I mean, to be honest, it would have been an upgrade to what she is now. Ruben. Dude, what's wrong with you? Dave. Chill, man. I'm just stating the obvious. Take a joke, dude. Ruben rolls his eyes. Ruben, you need to relax, okay? Look, I wanted to talk about your dad's will, so let's just get this over with. Dave rolls his eyes and scoff. Do we really need to talk about my father? I mean, it's not like I don't hear about him 24/7. Ruben rubs his brows, scoffs, and stares at Dave in silence. Ruben, I mean, your father was one of the most innovative men in today's age. He implemented augmented reality, attached it to our eyes, and now we can hop into our own subconscious memories and share it with others like it's an airdrop option. I would think you would show some respect to your old man. Dave, look, dude. I could sit here all day and act shocked, cry, and say I miss the man. But I am no actor. Am I sad? Maybe. But he's dead. There's nothing I can do about that. Dave rubs both of his eyes, then slides his hands down his face. Ruben lifts up briefcase, slams the briefcase onto the table, and quickly opens it up. Pulls out a piece of paper, sweeps the briefcase to the side, reads the will. Ruben. I, Martin Ezra-Dean, owner of Estech Industries, hereby give ownership to my son, David John Dean, as well as the family house, which you'll have to keep, as it has been in our family for generations. Hopefully future Deans can reside it. As for assets, one half will go to my other son, Sean. Dave rolls his eyes and gags. Ruben continued. Oliver Dean, who I'll always cherish and hope great things for. The other half of the assets will go towards any charitable organization that Sean decides to give it to. Ruben sets the paper down. Dave, are you joking right now? I get a company that I could literally give two shits about, and my brother gets all the money. Ruben, actually, he gets half the money. The other half goes to any chair. Dave slams his fist onto the table and points finger at Ruben. You know damn well what I meant. Ruben, I'm sorry you're mad that your brother is getting your father's assets. Oh, sorry, only half of his assets. Well, you will be getting a house that puts Richie Rich's house to shame in a company where you'll make twice or maybe even 3 times more money than your brother will ever get. I'm simply having trouble seeing the dilemma to this situation. Briefcase changes to laptop. Ruben's facial hair is shown. Dave scoffs for a moment and squints at Ruben and rubs his eyes. The laptop changes back to a briefcase. Dave, how come I get stuck with doing Dad's job? I don't want this job. I don't want his job. And it's not fair that Sean gets all the money that he doesn't deserve to spend. He's done nothing to get that money in that house. I don't want that, Pete. I don't want that place. Ruben, this is ridiculous and you know it. Ruben puts both of his hands underneath the table, clenches tight. Ruben, look, Dave. Your father made this will thinking that since you're older than Sean, that you would be responsible enough to take leadership. So right now, I will talk as a friend and not a lawyer. Heart rate monitor on Dave's finger. Dave wears plain white shirt with tiny little stains and gray sweatpants. Dave squints his eyes, puts his head down, holds head with his hand. Heart rate monitor is gone. Dave's attire changes back. Ruben continued. We both know you're not the guy to lead, but the guy to party. You're the guy who can never get enough, and one day that's going to catch up to you. Dave, this is insane. You're going to have to grow up and take some responsibility and eventually stop slipping Remy Martins off supermodel stomachs. Dave and Ruben sit in silence. Dave wrings his hands together and clears his throat. You're right, man. This whole thing just isn't fair. Sean gets all that money with no responsibility. I get put on display as the face of Dad's company, and there's nothing you or I can do about it. Ruben, hey, I understand where you're coming from, and I'm glad you're willing to take on this responsibility. Dave looks at the ground in silence, rubs the back of his neck, looks at Ruben wide-eyed. Dave, I think I know a way out of this. That would be good for all of us. Sean doesn't know about this will, correct? Ruben shakes his head in agreement. Dave continued. So, hypothetically, if we don't tell Sean about the will, we can change it. If we change it to where you're the face of the company, you get it all, and I still get enough money to do what I like. Supermodels. Dave smirks and raises his eyebrows. Ruben, as a lawyer, I have to say this is a terrible idea. As your friend, it's a terrible idea. But for someone like yourself, it's a great idea. Dave, I know, right? Ruben and Dave both sit in silence. Dave continued. So, what do you say? Do you think we can get away with it? Ruben, hypothetically? Yes, we could. David claps. Dave, yes! Great. Let's get this train rolling. So, how do we do this? Ruben pulls papers out of the briefcase and points to the dotted line. Ruben, first, sign here to confirm this is your personal information so that you will get paid for every 2 weeks. Second, sign here to state that you are handing full ownership of Aztec Industries over to me. Third, I will handle all of the legality issues. Fourth, and finally, I will schedule a press conference for you to break the news to everyone there. Dave smirks and signs the paper. Interior, dirty hotel room, night. Dave is unconscious with a head injury. Tubes and wires connect to his arm, fingers, and head. Twitches a little bit. Printer prints out a paper of the will, but it shows what the will really states. I, David John Dean, hereby give full legal ownership of Aztec Industries over to Reuben William Niles and Sean Oliver Dean. Reuben is shown to sit next to Dave, eyes shut, wires on his head connects to Dave's wires. A man sits across from Dave and Reuben in front of a computer. Man, 26, man bun, glasses, scruffy beard, thin cloth turtleneck, black pants, tattoos across both knuckles, bracelet on left hand. Sean gets up from the computer, walks towards Reuben, unhooks all the wires, wakes Reuben up. Sean, wakey, wakey. Reuben grunts and stretches. Reuben, ugh. How do we do, Sean? Sean pulls off wig and false nose. Sean, if Carl was alive in this day and age and witnessed what we just pulled off, he would be kissing us right now. Reuben looks at Dave. Reuben, and I feel like I need to take a shower after being in the same room with this prick, no offense. Sean puts his arm around Reuben. Both look at Dave. Sean, I know you, buddy, but look on the bright side. For all the problems this prick and her father caused for all the people, including you, they are getting what they deserve. Reuben, I understand, but if we're in this room any longer, I might strangle this douche. Sean, hey, at least you didn't have to grow up with the guy. Let me just check how much longer the printer has now, and good. Sean turns to the computer, leans near the computer, clicks OK that the print is complete. Sean takes the paper from the printer. Both Sean and Reuben gather their supplies and head out. Sean continued. Hey, do you want to grab some of that eat? Dave, still unconscious, eyes flutter. Interior conference room day. Dave wears business attire. Dave stands in front of a crowd. His eyes do not blink. Reuben stands far left of Dave. Sean stands next to Dave's right side. Dave. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming out today. I have some news I would like to share with you all. Reuben smirks. The end.